The one thing I was going to say is that when I learned about the Cuban Revolution, right, happened in 59, it felt like, and studying like anti-colonial movements and successful toppling of colonial governments like in Haiti and slave revolts, et cetera, and getting your colonizer out, that Cuba never really had that moment. That Cuba was just passed as a colony from different hands to different hands, from basically Spanish to American hands, correct? And like the Americans were essentially running shit. So 59, yeah, communism aside, it was an anti-colonial movement to regain autonomy and sovereignty for the Cuban people, who were kept in squalor and servitude and second-class citizenship and illiteracy and forgotten. And I think that is an interesting thing where you sort of, and I guess in other countries, I'm trying to think of which, but like you might see that in waves. First is the decolonial movement, anti-colonial movement, and then comes maybe a communist movement. This happened all at once. It felt like the actual anti-colonial moment was their revolution.
Yeah, I think right. I think so to recap the history for the listeners, Cuba is a Spanish colony until 1898, and what we call the Spanish-American War, and Cubans call the War of Independence. Basically, the Cuban independence fighters make a devil's bargain with the U.S. to align with the U.S. to get the Spanish out. That's successful. That's where we get Theodore Roosevelt and the Rough Riders.
Keep going. I have to talk to the vet.
Okay. And so they get the Spanish out, but as a result, the resulting post-independence Cuba, there's what they call the Platt Amendment, which remained in effect in Cuba for many years, that gave the U.S. the unilateral right to intervene militarily. And so even though Cuba wasn't formally a colony after the Spanish-American War, the Cuban War of Independence, the U.S. had effective military control, intervened repeatedly, like dozens of times over the subsequent decades, and had a pretty strong hand in selecting who was going to be the head of state and how the government was going to run. And it was, really designed to be a receptive environment for U.S. investments in terms of the hotel industry, mafia, sugar exports, and other things like that.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.